Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In today's class, inshallah, we are going to discuss about the physiology of thyroid gland. Physiology of thyroid gland. So the learning objective for you at the end of today's lecture, you should name the hormones secreted by the follicular and parafollicular cells of the thyroid gland. Okay? And number two, we have to describe the regulation of secretion, mechanism of action and functions of the thyroid hormone, plus hypo and hypersecretion. I missed in the objective. Hypo and hypersecretion of thyroid gland. Hypo and hypersecretion of thyroid gland. Okay. I think they are discussing the histology. Yes. Now you tell me what it consists of thyroid gland.
Two cells.
Yes. What is the function of follicular cell? Parafollicular cell? Yes. That is okay. Delete. Yeah. This is the synthesis of thyroid hormone. This is not my objective because we have to show the slides. This is not my objective. This is biochemistry.
What slide for you? Say start.
Same, no. First slide also. This first slide you should know the name, the follicular and parafollicular cells, which hormone they secrete. Okay. And this is biochemistry. So all the steps they will discuss in the biochemistry. Okay. How the iodine and this most important here is two things are important. Two substances. One is iodine, another is amino acid tyrosine. Tyrosine. So how the coupling occurs, how the iodine trapping occurs, how the iodine uptake, and there is a synthesis of formation of monoiodothyronine. Okay, then monoiodothyronine and those combine to form diiodo. Diiodo plus monoiodo, triiodothyronine. Okay, and T4. Diiodo plus 2 diiodo means T4. That is also called thyroxine. Again, we will discuss in detail biochemistry. The same thing. See this follicular cell is there. This is okay. How this the iodination occurs. Okay, and this is tyrosine residues. This amino acid. So this converted to MIT and DIT. 2 DIT gives rise to T4 and MIT and DIT gives us T3. So this coupling occurs, and most of the mechanism TSH is regulated. Thyroid stimulated hormone regulated most of the reactions. Same thing is there. Biochemistry. Here in this graph, we are showing that this is the protein bind hormone. So this thyroxine binding globulin is there, like cortisol binding globulin. Okay, during transport. Now, coming to the physiological part, the physiological action or functions of thyroid hormone, thyroxine functions. Number one, it increases the basal metabolic rate. It is the most important function of thyroid. It increases all the activity of the cell required to increase the metabolism. Okay, mitochondria, the size of the mitochondria, number of the mitochondria, surface area of the mitochondria, and all the enzymes which are necessary for metabolic activity. All increases. So all these increases. There is increased metabolism in the cells. So increase AT production, increase heat production. So that's an increased basal metabolic rate. So heat increases. At resting condition also it increases more heat. So it increases the ATP formation and it increases the active transport of sodium, potassium. This is also to increase the metabolic activity. Okay. The second important function is promote growth and development of brain during fetal life. So thyroid hormone is most important during fetal life and the few months of the postnatal life after birth for the growth and development of the brain. Okay. Suppose if a mother is hypothyroid, so there is no entry of thyroid hormone to the baby, so there is a lack of thyroid hormone leading to decrease in the development of brain. So the child looks idiotic face, okay, mentally underdeveloped. So that's why thyroid hormone is most important during fetal life and few months of the postnatal life. Okay. Now the third mechanism function is divided into the specific body mechanism. So this specific body. First is BMR, second is fetal life, third is specific body mechanism. Number one, carbohydrate metabolism. Okay. It is also a diabetogenic hormone. Okay. Diabetogenic hormone means increases the blood sugar level. Okay. And it also increases the blood sugar level by increasing the gluconeogenesis. Okay. Now, don't confuse. It enhances the glycolysis means increase metabolism of the carbohydrate, so more energy produced. Okay. It increases the more GI absorption of glucose. Okay. More GI absorption of glucose and the blood glucose level increases. That's why insulin secretion is there. Don't confuse. But the net effect is net effect is, yes. Remember, increase blood glucose level. Hyperglycemia. Net effect is hyperglycemia. Don't confuse. This increases the enhanced glucolysis, so this is gluconeogenesis. Glucose is formed from the non-carbohydrate substances, okay, and increased GI absorption of glucose, gastrointestinal absorption of glucose. So both will increases the blood glucose level. This is the net effect. When there is increased blood glucose level, it stimulates pancreas to secrete insulin. But this is not the net effect. Just help. Ultimately, the net effect is blood sugar level. Remember. Yeah, this is show that the metabolic activity
after gluconeogenesis.
Yes.
It will be glucolysis.
Yes.
As insulin is secreted.
So that's why when you remember my word. Ultimately, the net effect is hyperglycemia. Remember.
So little insulin secretion not enough to normalize.
Normalize. Yes. Then it is clear. Second is on fat metabolism. Here, before going further, you remember fat metabolism, it decreases the plasma fat level. First, remember, decreases plasma fat level. Okay. How? Number one, increases the enhanced fat metabolism, more fat metabolized. Okay. Number two, accelerates oxidation of fatty acids. More fatty acids are oxidized, metabolism and energy is formed. Okay. Again, energy is formed when more metabolic activity, BMR increases. Okay. Then this both leads to decrease in the plasma cholesterol, phospholipid and triglyceride. Okay. So the net effect is decrease cholesterol, phospholipids and triglyceride. Okay. So you see here, when a person is suffering from hyperthyroidism, decrease in the serum cholesterol level. Hyperthyroidism, decrease serum cholesterol level. Hyperthyroidism, serum cholesterol. This is one of the investigation. Then number three is the body weight. Again, I want your concentration here. Body weight. Okay. It increases the appetite. If you concentrate now, you will not ask me a question.
Okay.
Yes. Increases appetite means more hungry.
Yes.
More eating. Increase food intake. More eating. Increase GI motility. Gastrointestinal motility increases. So continuous absorption and increased motility out from the feces. More feces. Okay, so increased GI motility means still what happened, the food is not completely metabolized also, more removed. So more food this removed, so that leads to ultimately
Decrease the body.
decrease body weight. Then you don't come to me and ask, sir, increase appetite, increase food intake, body weight why decreases? Because GI motility is increases. Clear? So due to increase in the GI motility, so more food before going for absorption, it will come out from the body through the feces. So that's why more eating, even though more eating, but weight is lost. Weight is lost. This is the very important feature of hyperthyroidism. Then cardiovascular system. Very typical actions are there. Again, no confusion. You concentrate here. Vasodilatation. Vasodilatation means dilatation of the artery.
Yes.
Vasoconstriction, vasodilatation, they regulate diastolic blood pressure. Vasoconstriction and vasodilatation, they regulate diastolic blood pressure. Okay? Cardiac output and heart rate, systolic blood pressure. Now you don't have to ask the question. Vasodilatation and increased blood flow to the body, increased cardiac output, increased heart rate. When there is increased cardiac output and increased heart rate, increase in the blood pressure. Which blood pressure increases? Systolic. Then you don't come to me, sir, here there is a vasodilatation and you said that BP increases. And vasodilatation and vasoconstriction, they regulate diastolic blood pressure. So here the systolic blood pressure increases. Why? Because more cardiac output, more heart rate. Okay? Inshallah, you will learn this in this CVS block. How the BP is regulated, what are the factors determining blood pressure. Now you remember that increase heart rate, increase cardiac output, increase blood flow, and increase in the systolic blood pressure. Systolic blood pressure. Then the respiration, increase rate and depth of respiration. There is a more metabolic activity, more heat is there, and more carbon dioxide is formed in the body. It should be removed. That's why increase rate and depth of respiration. Rate and depth. Depth also more, rate also more. Then CNS, effect on CNS, extreme nervousness and psychoneurotic tendencies seen in patient with hyperthyroidism. So normally it has some activity on the brain, but what we don't know because the person is normal. When we know that activity is there, whenever there is a hyper or hypo condition. In hyper condition you see extreme nervousness, irritability, irritation, many thinking in the mind, okay, and psychoneurotic tendency. Okay, it's clear? Then muscle, it increases the muscle contraction. Thyroid hormone increases the muscle contraction. Again, this is seen when there is a hyper or hypo. Some functions is there, but normally we can't make out. Normally we can't make out. So whenever there is a hyper or hypo, we can make out. So in the hyper secretion of this hormone leads to tremors. You know what is tremors? Continuous contraction like this. Continuous contraction of the muscles is called as tremors. Continuous oscillatory contraction of the muscles called as tremor, and tremor is the very important symptom and sign of hyperthyroidism. Tremors, fine tremors. At a speed of 10 to 15 times per second. Per second, 10 to 15 times contraction. Okay. Then again, thyroid hormones have a important action over the sleep, function of sleep. Again, we can't make out. Only we can make out hyper or hypo. Normally, normal sleep is there, no disturbance. Okay. So in hyper condition, there is extreme fatigue, but difficult to sleep. The person is sleeplessness, feeling sleeplessness during hypersecretion. More sleepy, hyposecretion. More sleepy, hyposecretion. So whenever you are writing the function, some function you have to write hyper or hypo because normally we can't make out. A person is normally sleeping. Okay, how?
The muscles, they were with hyper or with hyper?
Hyper.
What about that? What happened?
Hypo means sluggish reflexes. Sluggish reflexes. You attended my class of reflexes?
Yes.
Knee hammer.
Yes.
Remember? Hit contraction. So this is very immediate. Here sluggish. Sluggish.
Doctor, the sleeping, it's going to be hyper the fatigue.
Hyper.
To sleep.
Hyper.
In the hyper. All in hyper.
Yes. Function I am showing in hyper because we want to show the functions.
Yes.
There is no action in the protein.
No?
Action in the protein.
Protein, no, not a specific this one is there, only protein, some catabolism is there minor, and that is seen in seen in hypo, more protein is deposited in hypo.
There is muscle weakness.
Yes, muscle weakness.
So the action in the protein.
Catabolism. Okay. So here the overall scheme of thyroid hormone, the mechanism of action showing how it is act. This is the receptor for T4 bind to the nucleus. Okay, it increases the synthesis of mRNA that leads to increase this activity, increase the respiratory enzyme, other enzyme, and proteins for growth and maturation. Okay, and you see ultimately this increased cardiac output, increased ventilation, increased food intake, mobilization of intravenous carbohydrate. This all increases the carbohydrate oxygen consumption, more consumption of oxygen. More oxygen is there, there is increased metabolic rate. More metabolic rate is there, then carbon dioxide increases, urea, muscle mass decreases, adipose tissue. Okay, and thermogenesis, more heat is produced in the body.
Yes.
More heat because of this fat and carbohydrate. This is the regulation of secretion. This is one of the objective for you.
Yes.
Regulation of secretion. It is same like cortisol we have discussed now. This regulation mainly depend on the two hormones are there. One is hypothalamus, that is thyroid releasing hormone, TRH. Okay. Anterior pituitary TSH,
Yes.
thyroid stimulating hormone, and thyroid hormone T3 and T4. Okay. Whenever anything which stimulates TRH stimulates the anterior pituitary, TSH increases, and TSH stimulates the anterior pituitary thyroid hormone to secrete T3 and T4. Okay. Then when the concentration of T3 or T4 is more, negative feedback mechanism is self-regulatory.
Yes.
Okay. Again by two mechanism, T3 and T4 both inhibits TSH as well as hypothalamus.
Yes.
Anterior pituitary as well as very easy. Very easy. This first stimulated, and then when the concentration of this increases, it inhibits. Easy, no? Easy to remember.
Yes.
Now hyperthyroidism. Hypersecretion of thyroxine or T3 or T4. So other names are toxic goiter, same name. Okay. Thyrotoxicosis, Graves' disease, or exophthalmic goiter. All the names are given for hyperthyroidism. So whenever there is a more than normal secretion of T3, T4 or T4 thyroxine, so there is a hyperthyroidism. Okay. What are the symptoms? Causes again they will discuss in the pathology. So in physiology we should know the symptoms. Okay. So there is a long-acting thyroid stimulator. Antibodies are there. Antibodies, LATs, antibodies. Long-acting thyroid stimulator. They continuously for longer time stimulate thyroid. So more hormone is released. More hormone. Okay. Symptoms: intolerance to heat.
Yes.
Patient is this one is very sweaty and intolerant to heat.